Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit over at rakeandprofit.com, coming back to you with another video. And in today's video, I want to share the top 6 characteristics that I've noticed amongst successful resellers. So if you're just getting started reselling, or maybe you're new, you've been selling on Amazon FBA or Etsy or Facebook Marketplace for a while, and you want to grow your business, you want to make more money, you want to do this consistently, because anybody can make money flipping some items randomly as a hobby, right, to make a few extra bucks. But maybe you want to quit your job, maybe you want to do this long term, maybe you want to go from making $500 a month to $5,000 a month, right? And I've helped literally thousands of people to make $1,000 to $5,000 a month doing this as a side hustle, and I've helped hundreds of people to do this full time. So with that being said, if you're excited about this video, smash that like button and let's get right into the video. So what's the first characteristic that I've noticed amongst successful resellers? Well, the first one is they love learning. You know, the saying goes, the more you learn, the more you earn. The more you know, the more you grow. And this is so true. I've noticed that the most successful resellers, they're curious. They love learning. They love networking, right? Your net worth is going to equate to your net work. Who do you know? Right? What knowledge do you have the ability to gain from somebody, right? And it's not about just gaining or taking, it's a give and take, right? The more people you know in your network, the more successful people that you hang out with. Jim Rohn says you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. The more you could give, the more that you could gain, and the more you could all collectively grow together. So be a student, be curious, read books, watch videos. Sometimes I'll read a book and it could take me a couple of weeks, but I learn one thing that absolutely changes the trajectory of my life, of my business. Be curious, be a student of the game, and I'm telling you right now, you're gonna grow more than anybody else because you're always willing to learn and improve. Number 2, the most successful resellers treat this reselling business as a business. You'd be shocked how many resellers that I know, how many people want to take their eBay business from part-time to full-time, or their Amazon FBA business, their book selling business from a couple hundred a month to a couple thousand. And you take a look at their business, you ask them various questions, and they're treating it like a hobby. And I've done this before too. I'm not speaking down to you. I'm just speaking from experience of helping hundreds of thousands of people and having mentors that are, 7, even 8 figures, right? The number one thing is, even though this is number 2 on the list, is you got to treat this as a business. I've recommended this book before. I'll recommend it again, The E-Myth. The E-Myth is a fantastic book to look into. Another book that's really great, it's a bit more advanced. It's called Traction. Definitely look into those 2 books, but you've got to treat your reselling business as a real business. Again, anybody could flip a couple of items and make a couple $100 profit. But to really make money from this business, you've got to take your bookkeeping serious. You've got to take your taxes serious. You've got to know your numbers. You've got to understand your cash flow. You've got to have routines for sourcing, routines for listing, routines for shipping. You've got to have you got to set a bar for customer service, and you got to make sure that you have good feedback, and you have to be learning new ways to sell, new ways to innovate. I can't say it enough. If you're not taking this business serious, you're gonna get paid as if you're just a hobbyist. If you wanna make real money, treat this as a real business, because there's hundreds and thousands of people who are doing this right now, but you better believe that they put in the effort, they put in the work, and they treat this as a business and not just a hobby. Number 3, the third characteristic that I've noticed amongst successful resellers, entrepreneurs, business people, is they take 100% responsibility. The people that I noticed are struggling, and they're kind of like a hamster on a wheel. They're not really moving anywhere, but they're always working, they're always doing things. The issue is, and I've fallen victim to this before, is they're not taking 100% responsibility for all the results in their business. My mentors, Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn, they talk about this all the time. You've got to take full responsibility for all the results that you're getting in your business and your life. If sales are slow, how many times do we just point the finger at eBay or the algorithm? Or how many times do we say, oh, I can't find enough inventory, it's the thrift store's fault, it's the YouTubers, it's the people on Facebook. I'm not gonna spend the next 10 minutes ranting, because if you've been watching my videos, you know I'm good at that. but you've got to take responsibility for your results. I can't say this enough. You've got to stop blaming other people, other circumstances, and you've got to take control of your business. Number 4, and this is a great segue from number 3, taking 100% responsibility, is you've got to not only take responsibility, but you've got to then become creative and resourceful. Let's just say that you're challenged with finding inventory, right? You're having a tough time finding inventory, or maybe the inventory is too expensive, or the competition's beating you. You've got to think of ways, you've got to study, you've got to research and try to find creative ways to source more inventory. You got to become more resourceful. You've got to learn how you can hire people to help you. You've got to learn how to delegate and outsource the things that maybe aren't your strengths and maybe aren't the things that are moving your business forward. You've got to be creative and resourceful. The people who make the most money aren't necessarily the highest IQ, the smartest, but they're resourceful, they're creative, they're problem solvers. They figure out a way. If there is a way, they find a way. They are creative, they are resourceful, they do not blame. So if you're the type of person who you're constantly blaming and pointing the finger and you're not taking responsibility, and you're not spending your time focused on solving the problem through creative measures and resourcefulness, then you're probably going to struggle for many, many years. The 5th key element of the most successful resellers, and a characteristic that really will make a big difference in your business, is twofold. Number 1, you've got to be willing to work hard, physically hard. You got to put in the time, you got to work hard. But 2, the second part, which is even more important, is you've got to be mentally thinking hard. You've got to be reflecting. You've got to be thinking. You've got to be strategizing. Because if you've got the ladder up against the wrong house, and maybe that house is only a 2-story house, and let's just pretend that each story is, I don't know, $50,000 in income. If you've got your ladder leaned up against a 2-story house based on the strategy that you're utilizing in your eBay or Amazon business, you're capped out at $100,000, right? Theoretically, just play along. What if you took the time to think just as hard as you're working to find a new way, to find a new strategy through creativity, through resourcefulness, and you find a new method or a new model? Maybe it's wholesale or private label, or it's just a unique relationship that you're able to build to be able to go from 6 to 7 figures. Now you're leaning your ladder up against a 6, 7, 8-story house. So thinking just as hard as you're physically working can make you way, way, way more wealthy and grow your business way, way more. So make sure that you're also cutting out time in your day to go on walks, to think, to journal, to reflect, to network with other successful resellers, to have mentors, coaches, even a therapist, right? Getting your ideas out, thinking, reflecting, because the people who are the most successful, they don't necessarily work the hardest physically. It's a combination of working hard physically, but also training your brain to work just as hard to grow your business. But last but not least, number 6, the 6th characteristic that the most successful resellers display is they're consistently growing and improving. They never just stay in one place. They're never, I hate to say satisfied, because obviously we should all aim for fulfillment and to be happy where we are. But the most successful resellers, they're always learning, they're always growing, they're trying to improve, whether that's improving their culture of their team, or just hiring new people on their team, or spending more time thinking and strategizing. There's always something in a reselling business that could be improved, something that we can do better, something that we could learn from, a new system or a process that maybe takes us 3 hours to put forth, but then saves us 10 minutes a day for the next 3 years. would you make that trade-off? Of course you would, because it would save you, days over a long period of time. So, having that mindset of never staying stuck in one place, always trying to grow, always trying to improve. And this isn't for everybody, right? That's why most people just get a job, they work a 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not here to tell you that running a business is the only way to be quote unquote successful, right? Success really is up to the definition of the person, right? How do you see success? What's success to you, right? That's a whole nother video. But you've got to be the type of person, if you want to succeed in business, you've got to constantly be growing, constantly got to be learning. Because if you're not growing, your competitors are catching up and they will take you out. It's a kill or be killed game when it comes to reselling and entrepreneurship. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment, let me know your feedback down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Much love.